Hi, everybody. I am back with Overcoming Imposter Syndrome Part 2. The video in Part 1 ended abruptly because I was in a place where my Wi Fi just stopped working, but I want to continue the conversation with you. I started the video talking about how I didn't believe in imposter syndrome. And the truth of the matter is, not that I was lying to you, but over time, I have had more challenges, I have had struggles. And when I first heard about imposter syndrome, I was in a different place. I was thriving in my career. I was doing well, started a business that was going well, and life was really on an upward spiral. And since then, there have been some valleys and some dips, and there have been several moments where I have felt like, man, am I supposed to be here? And so I don't want you all to think that I'm not um, that I'm not qualified to post this video, but I do understand, and I want to pick up on part two with how we can arrest imposter syndrome and how you can have a community that will help you do that. I am very blessed with friends that I work with, friends that I do life with, friends that are in various parts of my life holistically, and they know me at different levels. And one of the things that I can easily do is I can get caught up in an emotion in a situation, and if I don't start thinking about, okay, how do you feel? Why do you feel this way? And what can you do about it? Is there something else underneath it? Like, I start asking myself questions so that I am not anxious and my anxiety doesn't lead to me completely um, taking me out of a mindset, out of a mentality that filter, like that filter, like my hands will be like this, but I need my hands to be like this so that certain things and certain thoughts don't get in. Here's what I do. I have friends who I can be vulnerable with and say, hey, I do, in some instances, feel like I'm less than. I'm working on that. It's hard for me to have vulnerable conversations. So when I start to say something negative towards myself, it would be helpful if you could just be a little curious. Now, I appreciate that my friends and family are not always in a position mentally, because we all have stuff going on, to recognize when that's happening. So, what is my responsibility? My responsibility is to say, hey, this is happening and I need your help. So, you do have to help people help you to overcome how you are feeling. They can't fix it. They can't jump into your mind and beat all of the negative stuff that you have told yourself. They can't dig up and remove the shrapnel, the feelings, the bad moments, the disappointments, the negativity that has come up against you in your life. They can't do that. But what they can do is give you space to talk about it. They can pray with you in the moment. They can remind you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and of all of your gifts and of all of the things that you possess. They can ask you good questions, questions that say, hey, what happened to make you feel that way? How was your day? This is the first time you felt that way. Now, they're not therapists, but I'm telling you, friends are just as good at times if they know you and know how to help you get to a place where you can talk it through. In order for that to happen, you have to be willing to talk. You have to be willing to allow someone to come in, sit beside you, sit with you in the moment where you feel less than, where you don't feel worthy, where you don't feel qualified, and sit with you in it. And I pray that you have people that will sit with you in it via phone, in person, FaceTime, prayer circle, whatever it is that they're with you during those moments. And if they're not with you, invite somebody in. And that's the hard part. We're going to get to the next step of, yes, you need community. Yes, they can help you. Being able to invite someone in. Now, there are a lot of women who have shared with me, and I've seen on panels where they feel like people, places, leadership systems have just basically been bad actors in their environments and have let some negative, ignorant behaviors just go. They've just let them persist, such that when you speak out against it, when you refute it, and when you call people out, it's that, oh, now all of a sudden you have a problem. There are times when you and I have to be brave, where we have to call a thing a thing. And that step of being able to say, no, this is not imagined. This is something that's real. This is a system. This is a person that is trying to diminish my gifting, trying to diminish what I'm capable of and what I'm doing, so that that it's more palatable. And imposter syndrome will eat that. Imposter syndrome grows when it is allowed to go unchecked too often, when it's too long and too often, and when it starts to rear its head in an environment where someone is not able to speak truth to power, or speaking truth to power has consequences. And even if they do, your bravery and your courage to acknowledge that what they are doing, or what the system is doing, or what people are saying is not true, even if you can't stop it, it's still better than doing nothing. I'm here to tell you it's still better than doing nothing. And when I say doing nothing, this is my definition of doing nothing. You may not go to HR. You may not call that person out in a meeting. You may not have a one on one. You may not be in a position where you're ready to do that. But what you can do is look at yourself and say, not true. I understand exactly what this is. And this doesn't have anything to do with me. Or, I don't know what this is, but I know how it's making me feel. I'm going to call it out, and I am not sure how to get to the root of it, but I'm going to pray about it, and I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep thriving, keep learning, keep asking questions, because I'm not perfect and I can get better. And if they won't help me, then I am going to reach out to my resources and my network to see how I can improve and get through this situation. There are a lot of different ways to answer it. And I've had to do that myself. And so, imposter syndrome, overcoming it, is more than just understanding who you are. It's how we respond and how we act in the moment, where we realize that, hey, i'm starting to I'm starting to mimic and sound a certain way. And I tell you, it can happen in a moment where you are riding high, where things are going well, and all of a sudden you'll make a mistake, or someone will highlight something, or you'll get constructive feedback. But because you may not be in the right frame of mind to receive it, that might even set you back. That's happened to me too, where the person was, I didn't like the way they gave it, and in that moment, I was just like, okay, I'm not really in the mindset to receive it. But what I've learned to do is acknowledge and park it. And then when I'm able to sit with it, I go find it and say, okay, let's unpack what happened today. And I do that myself first. And then I invite somebody else to join me, preferably somebody who's aware of the situation, who can be objective and give me feedback. Sometimes I have done that, ladies and gentlemen, and the feedback was, Karen, you tripping. They told you exactly what you needed to hear, and you didn't like it. And so now that you've got the feedback, what are you going to do? And there have been moments where I was just like, oh, it is me. It is I that has the issue. And so what do I do to address it and fix it? And that's the work. Part two of overcoming imposter syndrome is the work that we have to do. Yes, there is work that we have to do in order to make sure that we are continuing to remember who we are and to keep going. We are going to get obstacles. We are going to often be the obstacle, and we have to keep going. You need a system, you need friends, you need family, you need a therapist, maybe. You need a pastor, you need a church home, you need someone that can speak life into you. You need the word of God, because that is life. The living word of God can tell you that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You need the word of God that says, "Hey, joy cometh in the morning." So this may have been a bad day, but tomorrow, if you're blessed to see it, and if you are blessed to see it, tomorrow is a whole nother day, and we can start over. You've heard me say words like imperfect action. It doesn't have to be perfect for us to act, and then to also act on our behalf. We have to be our own advocates. We have to be honest with ourselves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a part of the work that I know is hard, but that we have to do. Um, I speak very passionately about this because I've had to undo and unravel a lot of different things that I have put on myself, that people have put on me, that people have thrown at me, and I caught it and then I played with it and then tried to throw it back and realized I had stuff on my hands. And it's just like, why did I pick it up? I've had to do, and I'm still doing the work to understand what makes Karen tick, what makes her stand up in a room and with confidence, what scares me, and be honest with that, and have people that can help me process some of those things when I'm unable to. Because not every day is going to be a banner day. Some days it won't have anything to do with your capabilities. Some days you are going to be tired. Some days you're going to have an argument or a row, as my husband likes to say, with your spouse or your friend or your tribe, and things will just be unsettled. Someday you're going to recognize that, oh, I am part of the problem. I didn't realize I was part of the problem. And so now I've got work to do to fix it, but I've got all these other things to do. It's a lot sometimes. I want you to give yourself grace. And I'm going to end with this. I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it because we don't do it often enough. The truth that you tell yourself about the situation, you got to start speaking truth to yourself as well. I'm not perfect, but I strive to have positive outcomes. I get emotional sometimes. And when I haven't eaten or I haven't slept the full amount of time that I need, sometimes my decision making and my thought process does not really work that well. I just had an argument with someone that I care about, and I really can't focus on this right now because that thing is still in the back of my mind. So anything additional that comes and attaches itself or is adjacent to it is not going to get full logic, full attention because I'm not able to focus. And for me, when those moments happen, I pray for clarity. I pray to just have me be still. Peace, be still. God, I need peace right now, and I need to be still in order to get it. And that helps me. So when we start to talk about overcoming something, it's something that we can step over, but it is also overcoming. Like we have to be a part of it to become. We have to overcome, take over, arrest, and we cannot do that alone. We cannot do that alone. We should not do that alone. That is what I want to tell you. I pray that you have a great day. I pray that this was helpful. And I would love to hear in the comments what you do to overcome your own imposter syndrome. What has worked for you? All right, guys. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.